And we are live now from Cambridge, Massachusetts, where it is Veterans Day. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Lant. I'm the CEO, co-founder, and chairman of the Scholarship Committee for Worldprofit at www.worldprofit, that's PROFIT.com. And you're going to learn about all in 59 minutes. I am here with my colleague, Howard Martell, who is also on the Scholarship Committee of Worldprofit, and he is the senior monitor. Now, there are several interesting things you want to know about Worldprofit as we commence this program. This program is called Anything Goes. It's the oldest live broadcast on the internet, period, in any subject. We at 1 p.m. time daily to discuss many different kinds of issues, but always success in business and success on the net. That is a given. Now, one of the things that's interesting about Worldprofit, first of all, is the longevity. We've been here a lot longer than anybody. If you want a home-based business, you can count it us because we are the leading home-based business in the creator in the world. Well, the first thing is that we have a give-back program, a scholarship program, wherein we take $2,500 of our dollars in goods and services and money, and we give them to people like Axel, to the, what have we got? 60 people in the window now. But the problem is, as far as you're concerned, is that we only have a very select number of these scholarship packages. To wit, we have 3 right now for the entire day. Now, if there are 3 people in this audience who, are ready to move ahead, you let us know immediately so that we can do that. Howard, why don't you say a few thoughts for the folks?
First and foremost, thank you for allowing me to be up here again. It's very important for people to listen to what myself and Dr. Lant have to say. I've been a proud member here for almost 5 years now. And it was because of the guidance of Dr. Lant, George, and Sandy that I'm here today. You found the place for your training, traffic, and your living needs. So don't look further, and let's grab some of those scholarships.
Again, we have 3 scholarships. Each of them is worth $25. And at every minute, I mean the very minute you decide you want to have one of these scholarships, you come down to us and click on the red box that says Order Now. If you're looking at us and you've never been to our site before, start by clicking on the green box that says Watch Video. It's 7 minutes in length, and we do advise you to watch it and then come back to us. What we're going to do to begin is we're going to start off by an article that I wrote some time ago. And I'll tell you why I'm asking Howard to read it. First of all, I'm very tired. I was up most of the night last night, so wrestling with my memoirs, which I'm very much in the process of writing. I'm writing an important section about morality. Does it even exist anymore? And it was a very thought-provoking article based on an incident in Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. But you'll have to wait for the book to hear about that. And so I'm a little sleepy, a little groggy. You shouldn't pull all-nighters when you're old because you get to be the crabby part the host the next day. All right, so leaving that to one side. Today is a day of mystic significance. The 11th hour, 11th month of 1918. This is the day that Armistice Day occurred, that brought to an end the gravest, bloodiest, most destructive, most nearly stupid of Europe's many wars. World War I, the end of all war. Well, we know where that started. My Uncle Will, I should say my great Uncle Will, my father's uncle, was blinded in that war. And I wrote an article about him some time ago, which Howard is going to read, because I'm doing kind of croaky today. Howard's going to read a text. And Uncle Will was a perfectly average farmer from Henderson County, Illinois, right smack dab in the heart of America, who went to France to be blinded by mustard gas. And I was always curious about how that happened. And so I researched the subject and came up with this article, and I'm going to ask Howard to read it. But for all you veterans out there, I'll have some spare remarks afterwards. Howard, before you read, do you have anything to say, or do you just want to start by reading?
Start reading right now. I think it's very important to listen to this article. This is the true meaning of what it means to be a veteran. Is if you listen to this article, if you're not touched, well, I guess you don't have a soul then. Thoughts on the war to end all wars, mustard gas, Uncle Will, and remembrance. By Dr. Jeffrey Lant, author's program note. This Memorial Day, for the first time since the clock struck 11 on the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, the day of armistice, there are no known World War I veterans extant. The last U.S. veteran, Frank Buckles, died in 2011 after celebrating his 110th birthday. He served as a U.S. Army ambulance in Europe, rising to the rank of corporal before the war ended. Then there was just one more. Florence Green died in 2012 at age 110. Just 2 weeks before her 111th birthday, she joined the Women's Royal Air Force in September 1918 at the age of 17. She went to work as a waitress in the officers' mess at Bath Marham in eastern England, and serving there when the war ended in 1918. With these two deaths, now they are all dead. In their millions, the men and women who fought to make the world safe for democracy. There's the war to end all wars, as President Woodrow Wilson earnestly asserted and solemnly pronounced to the world, which, after its great sacrifices, wanted so very desperately to believe him. No one more so than William Edward Marshall, my great Uncle Will. How an archduke changed the life of a gridiron hero, the most handsome man in Henderson County. The Great War, as its survivors dubbed it, began with a zealous young Slav nationalist named Gavrilo Princip, shot the Duke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the throne of Austria-Hungary, and his Morganatic wife, Countess point-blank range. Both died at once, while Austrian authorities proceeded to break Princip's body like pretzels. Thus, Princip, just 20, became the first man of millions who yearned for home and peace, finding premature death instead. And so he died starting in the vicious process that killed him, which then had to kill Tact, who, outraged, had to kill it again. Why did he plan to murder, to assassinate the heir? For the highest and best reasons, you may be sure. Reasons which over 60 million people around the world died. Every day that trail of blood and mayhem emanating from the slumped body of His Royal and Imperial Highness grew broader and broader still. His dead eyes asked a single question, the question hitherto to unquestioningly would ask in their turn. Why? Answer is found in part William Edward Marshall, citizen of Stronghurst, Illinois, of the Great Republic. To understand World War I, you must understand how Will Marshall, as everyone always called him, gave up everything he knew and valued to go fight on behalf of a faraway people he didn't know and would never meet, knowingly risking life and limb, remember, for total strangers. About Will Marshall. William Edward Marshall achieved the highest rank his country could confer the moment of his birth for then. The very instant he was born, he was a citizen of the Great Republic, a title, style, and dignity unknown in most Europe, whose opulent princes had subjects, not citizens. Here, Will Marshall, that he was not a prince or count, was better off and knew it. Thus, his belief in the Great Republic, its whys and wherefores, came as easily as breathing. He was a free man in a free country, and a man whose right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness was assured by the Constitution of the United States. These rights came as relation to God, not a gesture of Machiavellian prince who might later rescind what he rued to give. William Edward Marshall's rights sent him and every other citizen. This was an American in 1890, the year Will Marshall was born. The land of the free, the home of the brave. Football hero, farmer, respected man of peace. Will Marshall was called without irony, handsomest man in Henderson County. In 2 bits will buy you pint coffee, even his deflating father said. Will didn't mind me, after all, tall, well-made, fleet of foot, and master strategist. He was that most American of local heroes. From those agile moves came a life respect from those who would tear the post down after they had seen Will Marshall run past again. Such feats are cherished everywhere in America, but nowhere more than in the tiny hamlet of Stronghurst, Illinois, population still under 1,000 souls in 1914. Every one of them knew what a good man Will Marshall was, how hard-working, how public-spirited, how well he must stand with his God. And so, things might have continued, but for the murderous being between Archduke on a sunny July day and a zealot determined to exterminate him, Will Marshall goes to war, to France, to his destiny. Will Marshall was a warrior, not a man of martial attitudes, uniforms, poses, and gestures. Farmers, tillers of the land, bringing forth as bounty their own assist, labor, and seldom are. They know how it is to create life, to spend their limited time on this planet destroying it. Marshall abhorred, yet the greatest struggle, because needed him, and that was that. The Yanks are coming. Thus, Will Marshall became part of the American Expeditionary Force, AEF, and of course found himself one of over 1 million citizen soldiers stationed in France, over half of whom were at the front lines, including him. There, as the increasingly desperate German imperial forces grew more desperate, considering doing every single thing to snatch victory from the increasingly certain defeat, Will Marshall met his fate in a cloud of poison gas, mustard gas. Contrary to popular belief, gas as a weapon was first introduced by the French army. However, it was the Germans with their customary organizational genius and chemical skills who perfected the process. For the defense and glory of the fatherland, anything, even the most horrid thing, was contemplated, considered, and ultimately used. Some apologists somewhere would not doubt advance a comfortable rationale. And so, one extraordinary day, an ordinary German soldier lobbed the mustard gas to Senate, and William Edward Marshall sent to Chief Justice, shook the nation, one of the nature's gentlemen, to his knees, brought low by the toxic beauty of gas, stealthy, silent, serene. But there, you see, is the rub, for gas is one of the cruelest weapons ever created. During an actual mustard gas attack, its manifestations may not be seen, will not be seen for hours, even days. Then the gas you inhale, perhaps without knowing it, became the pernicious agent of your end. The gas rules decides whether you live or die. What manifestations and disabilities may be yours and torment you for years, for life. Thus, starting from the day he gassed until the day he died, Uncle Will lived a life where his sight degenerated. Remedies were tried, consulted, prayers by one and all given for his recovery, for he was a popular man, all to no avail. The effects of that gas cost him at least one eye. The second deteriorated year by year until in 1934 he could see nothing at all. Light for him has ceased to exist. Uncle Will and me. When I was growing up in the 50s, my family visited Stronghurst every so often. We never failed to visit Uncle Will and his charming wife. My father made sure we behaved properly. He was especially keen on the handshake, firm, not limp, and how to walk across the parlor properly so Uncle knew how many steps you took. In this way, he calculated how tall you were and how much you've grown since the last visit. The room was quiet, sound muted, light filtered. Uncle Will sat in a great sturdy chair, its size necessary to contain the football player of old. I looked closely at his face. This was the face of a man of resignation and calm acceptance. He remained handsome, even noble, right? And he never complained, never said a word about the day so long ago. Never was anything but gentle, polite, good-humored, and glad to see him. He had fought this war, done his bit, paid the price, could look the world in the eye. His pride deep, profound, abiding. The great republic has besought his help. He had given in full measure, and for him it was an over there, not a bitter reality revisited daily. Now, not only Uncle Will, but every veteran of the Great War, now they are no longer die by thousands each day, but far worse are forgotten in their thousands, men whose lives are utterly and completely committed to us. Now even a moment's thought by us. Yet we are all children of the Uncle. Gifts should always be glad and glad to say so. They ask so little now, but we begrudge them even that. Satisfied to take, satisfied to give them nothing, not even heartfelt recognition of our eternal debt. May God forgive us. Author's closing note. Like so many of his buddies, Uncle Will loved her, a jaunty tune written by M. Cohen in 1917. Find it in any search engine and turn up the sound and remember.
What do you make of that?
It speaks the truth. It speaks of what the one percenters, as we are called, the people that have served in the military at one time in their life, what we do. It's not about us, and I tell people that. The guy that I met today while I get my car washed, he was nothing but so grateful to me. I said, hey, I'm just a normal person like you are. I just was blessed to be serve the Great Republic for 20 years, and says my honor and privilege, but that's things that I've been receiving today. So to me, that would put a smile on my face. I didn't ask for it, but people, they thank us. I mean, and we don't ask to be thanked, but hey, I'm not complaining.
Well, I'd welcome comments on it before we carry on. I think, listen to it as I do. There's a poetry about the whole situation, a terrible poetry about the people that gave up everything to save everyone. About that simple. Now, I'm getting a series of whispering messages from Jesse Rice. And Jesse, if you wish to, it's not necessary, but I will answer your query. But I would rather do it in open session. If you want it to be private, you'll have to contact me after the program. If you don't mind turning it into a teaching lesson, I'll do it right now. What would you like? Private or not private?
Hey, Edward, and welcome back, Edward.
And then Jesse, you'll have to wait till the program is she chooses to make it private, so I will have to deal with it after everything goes. I will, in general terms, answer your question. Money is made at Worldprofit in many, many ways. Jesse, you're just going to stay right here. I'm going to call you into a hidden meeting all over what I'm going to answer your query. The way you make money is by promoting. By filling this room with as many people you're all just pummeling me with notes, and they're not bad notes. They're just people. It's all right to put it in the open session. It doesn't bother me. It's you. Okay, Edward says, "Thank you, but I am lost." Let's do Edward because he's a new member. Edward, what do you mean you're lost? You're not even a member. So of course you're lost. Haven't you and I spoken before? Haven't I spoken with you in the past? Guess you'll have to wait your turn. Edward, have we spoken before? Well, Edward, if you're not going to respond, then you're going to stay confused. Okay, Edward, I offered you a scholarship. Do you recall that? Worth $2,500. For whatever the real reason, you turned it down. Do you remember this? Do you recall those facts? Folks, what I say to you is slow down, you move too fast. Everybody will help you. I will make sure all you get answers. But don't jump on each other and on me. It's got to be done. It's grrr. I don't respond well to that. Now, Edward, are you going to communicate with me? Yes or no? No. Excuse me. Okay, Howard, you can deal with that. Look at that line. Please wait. I'm not waiting. You're contacting me. Jesse, I will go on to you. Jesse, the program is based on promotion. You do not have, at this point, any people in this room who came here as a result of your promotions. Thusly, neither Howard nor I can close a deal for you that will result in mission because you don't have anyone here. No, Edward, let's remove him out. Okay, you've been going like crazy. You still don't have anyone. Why don't we look at, Howard, why don't you direct us so that we can look at our stats?
Okay, Jesse. Scroll up to the top of the page. You see where it says Ad Tracker? I want you to click on that. You can right-click on it, open up tab, and then copy that information, those numbers in there for me, okay? All the way to the top of the page. We'll compare. Okay? This is a learning lesson here. That's why it's called Anything Goes. Yours should look like something like that.
I want you to copy that exact portion from their report and put it on the screen. I'd like you to give her the directions, and then I need to say something. I want to just see. You need to copy down. Howard has put on the screen what your report should look like. Do you understand where he got that down? Jesse, Howard is posting on the screen. I want to make a very special offer. If we have any veterans amongst the 50 people that are in here now, I'm going to automatically give you the scholarship program. Any veteran, right now, any nation, any rank, any service, will include some of it doesn't have to be combat related. That doesn't have to be in the military. It can be Peace Corps, for example. I'll count that. Bottom line is if any of you are in any service whatsoever, in the service of humanity, you come to me right now and do a scholarship package and set you up. Right now. And don't tell me later that you couldn't, you didn't, you wanted to, but blah, 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 blah. I'm doing this right now. I've never done this before. any scholar, any veteran of any country, any service who comes forward now will get a scholarship package automatically, and we will start you on the road for profit. Does everybody understand me? However, what do you want to say about that? I've never heard this offer before because it never get made before.
I think it's just the way that we can give back. Just there we go, Jesse. Okay.
Okay, you say, I have a bunch of zeros. That is the question. If you believe there's an error, you go to click the blue technical support, the blue support key. Do you see it?
And Jesse, did you make sure to mask your URL following the video in video number 3? That will use the ad tracker, okay? Just make sure you put a support ticket in, because you shouldn't have zeros.
You have another question?
Questions, Jesse?
Yeah, again, do you have any questions? Don't have any further questions. I just want to be clear.
Lee, it looks like you haven't watched our video yet. Just wanted to welcome you to Anything Goes session here. Your first step is to watch the video, Lee. And we got a special package for you, okay?
We have a special $2,500 scholarship. We're sort of segued into this portion of our program, which is where Howard and I are going to be willing to do some consultations given your situation.
Blue support link.
Okay, first of all, test. We're not going to do anything with you, whatever, if you haven't given us a full name. If you don't give us a first and a last name, we're not going to provide you with any assistance. In fact, we're going to remove from this, and you will lose your right to the $2,500 scholarship package. I do not intend to invest money, but we do not have the courtesy or brains to give us a name. So we're going to give a chest test for 1 minute to see whether he is real and gives us a real name. Not no hard feelings, but we're going to move on. Guess what? We have a lot of Chris's, about 3,000 of them. Male Chris, female Chris. We're making this as just as hard as we can. I believe you visited us before, haven't you? That looks familiar to me. You visited us on a previous occasion. Okay, now I'm going to ask you right away, why didn't you join us? Let me get this straight. You come in, proposition, point number 1, you come in with a name, and you don't join. Yes. Then you come back with no name, but to drag the name out of you. But ask me now, why didn't you join us, and are you ready to join us now? Well, now I ask you, why would any person in their right mind invest money in a person who's giving us this kind of stuff. Or do you got a comment for him?
Definitely. When you do join us, the fact of it is that you need what we have here. You can run your business through a mobile app, as you can see. You have the best possible chance to make money, and they're going to show you how to do it properly. Only and if you're willing to invest in yourself. Are you willing to invest in yourself? Yes or no?
Well, first of all, all right, Jesse, well, you didn't use that so that you do. I have to be very candid with you. I don't see how you can possibly think you're going to do any business on the internet. You just canceled all the tools and the personnel that you need. Now, I understand the reason because you made it very clear. But at this moment, your internet business died. Are you aware of that? You do realize it. As far as test is concerned, I wouldn't invest money in a person who is like that. Questions. I don't even get a name. All I get is Chris. Chris who?
Chris Kringle?
Do you think if Chris appeared before a scholarship committee in the real world, that they would allow him to come in with a fake name and all the folderol and make them dance around to try to get them? They'd have him out of there in under a minute. So, Jesse, do you realize what you've just done?
And Jesse left. People. When will they learn?
Say people. I'm not sure if I give it that title myself. We'll see. We remove test from the screen. We shall wait a bit now in hopes that somebody of sense and sensibility arrives.
Edward's in the video, so we shall see when he comes out. But this is a proven example, people. This room should be filled right now. I know it's Veterans Day, it's a holiday, but people are still looking for a way to make money from home. This room should be filled. I know Dr. Lant about it. We talk about it. We want to close and give packages away. But the only way we can do it is for you to keep on promoting. It's the same people that promote. We know that.
Let me put this in. You guys are using my money and George's money and Sandy's money to put money in your pocket without permission. Now, I don't know of another company that does that. If it were me, if I was a regular dealer, you better believe I'd be pushing the envelope here. Non-stop, generating as many leads as possible, force-feeding the leads in here, getting the monitors to close them, and I would never stop. If somebody's going to say to me, here, Dr. Lant, you can use my money to promote your business, you better believe I'd be all over that. Now, we only need 3 more packages for this day. 3. We should have had them all by now. Well, let's just say maybe we should have had 1 or 2. 1 or 2 more left. But let's wait here for a minute and see what happens.
Okay. But we're talking about your Uncle Will. That's what we're talking about.
I find the whole back on World War I, and I am a great student of World War I. I find the whole concept of Uncle Will in Henderson County, Illinois, in the middle of nowhere. Tiny little county, Stronghurst, Illinois, less than 1,000 people in 1914. Still has hardly more than 1,000 now. I mean, the population gets worse the same for 100 years. It's told by the president, we're going to go to France. And then immediately there's a little saying that comes out, Lafayette, we are here. This is the Marquis de Lafayette, who came from France to fight in our revolution. Now we were returning the favor. There was this camaraderie, by the way, doesn't seem to exist anymore. And the whole notion of a person just getting up, leaving his farm, leaving his family, leaving everything behind to go fight for straight back. I find the whole concept amazingly provocative and almost unreal. Do you think about that? Why would people do that? Because they did it because the president told them to do it, urged them to do it, wanted them to do it, made, when we say made them do it, it's not like a gun to the head but made it sound so necessary. And it was a very bloody war. It wasn't like today's wars, helicopters flying people in and out and moving. It wasn't that way at all. People died terrible ways. I don't know, I think about this a great deal now. One little incident and one little normal day, in and out of life, there dies. Well, I'm muttering with disbelief. I was thinking of Gavrilo Princip. He was only 20. And he was brainwashed by an organization called the Black Hand, which was a terrorist organization just of Austrian intentions. And but for an accident, an assassination occurred that day. The authorities on the parade route changed the parade route at the last minute and didn't inform the Archduke's chauffeur. I mean, one of those things with the fate of literally millions and millions of people hung in the balance, and this guy makes the wrong turn, and he realizes he's doing it, so he backs up, plunk. Gavrilo Princip is less than 3 feet away from the Archduke and shoots him right in the head. Bloop. Because of an accident. I mean, when you start getting into this stuff, you feel like at some point something odd, like fate, is going on. Now, I don't know. I don't think you studied World War I, do you? That's not your war.
I haven't really studied too much World War I, but it's, as I said, this article will resonate to so many different generations who haven't had to fight or didn't know relatives in that generation. The Greatest Generation, a book by Tom Brokaw wrote about it and stuff like that. How it's one of the biggest generations, the Greatest Generation. What they did.
He wrote about World War II.
Exactly.
He wrote about II. Well, what I'd like you to do is bring up. Please, are you ready to come up a little early? Say your piece, and Howard can come back. Okay, I want you to go down and let the priest come up. The priest porter is the person who pulls the wires. And she just put her follow-up information on the screen.
Good day, Dr. Lant, and thank you for that Remembrance Day article. I find it really necessary having articles and stuff like that read just so that I can remember, because I don't, it's not something that's prominent in my mind.
The problem. I'm sorry, go on. No, you do. You go.
It's not something that's prominent in my mind, but I when reading something like that article, how much effect it has had on so many people's lives, and I know through that effect it has affected my life. I mean, I've my great granddad was in the First World War, and you know, was torpedoed, and you know, it's my husband's father was in the Air Force, and you know, every time they took a tour, they were actually giving up their life because so many of them didn't return, and a great sacrifice. And it's very important to bring that to mind again so that we don't forget. And I do thank you for that. And if people want to watch the replay, it'll be on the YouTube channel Therese Porter, and you can catch some earlier Anything Goes programs at the YouTube channel Pat Porter. And if you want to check out my Home Business Central, it's at www.20waystoprofit.com. And I do help people to create abundance by gardening at www.gardeningforfoodsecurity.com. And with that, I'll say my adieus and let Howard come back up again. And once more, thank you very much. Bye for now.
Thank you, Bruce. Okay, first of all, Wendell, are you the Wendell who's a dealer here at Worldprofit? Wendell's that? Or is this a different Wendell? Please respond and let me know. Are you the Wendell who's a Worldprofit member or not? And Wendell, if you don't respond, I'm going to remove you from the screen. You need to respond. Since we're telling stories about World War II, I'll give you my story about World War II. Only before my mother died, she had a bunch of things to tell me. Which one of them was something she said, I've been thinking about this particular thing for a long time. I don't know whether to tell you or I shouldn't tell you. Well, you seem to want to tell me, so tell me. He then told me about someone in her high school class that ultimately went to war in Europe as a pilot. She told me that she was going to marry him if war was over, which was very close to happening in 1944. About 30 days before the war ended, he was shot down over Germany and killed. And the strange thing was that if he lived, I wouldn't be here. And you start playing with these crazy combinations and permutations. They're like, if he lived, I wouldn't be here. I might be here in some shape, but not this way, not this look, not maybe my two fingers are the same. You know what I mean? And you can drive yourself crazy going into this. And wars are full of what ifs. What if Hitler hadn't slept late the day the Normandy invasion took place? The reason that the invasion was so blue of the pattern of the Allies was that there was no one in Germany issuing any orders. So they didn't know where to put their planes. Because Hitler was tired. If he probably felt like I feel this afternoon. The difference is that I would take a nap. He takes a nap the whole war balance has changed. And I was thinking about my classics professor, Mason Hammond. Some of you know I'm an avid art collector. So I was reading the stuff about the monument man. And I think Howard told me, well, you went to see that film.
Yes. I've seen it.
Was it you that told?
The Monument Man you're talking about?
Right.
I told you about it.
Okay, but you don't know this. After you told me, I went down to the Harvard bookstore and to look at the index. And sure enough, Professor Mason Hammond not only was a monument man, he was the original monument man. Now, he used to tell me, right at his house when I was a student at Harvard, he told me about these projects are in Palermo and Sicily and the southern part of Italy. But he didn't tell me, he never used the term monument man. He just said, this is what I did. And the first reference to him says, this is the original monument man. And so if it hadn't been for you, I probably wouldn't have paid real attention to that. But I wrote a good deal about the monument man, particularly from the standpoint of Mason Hammond, whom I knew. It was very helpful to me. I find out all this, talk disturbing because it all comes back to what if this happened and what if this hadn't happened. You know what I mean? So crazy. Well, what else would you like to add on this memorable day? And again, I have an offer on the table for every person, every vet in every country, every rank, including vets from organizations like the Peace Corps. And I'll even go there. Doctors Without Walls, the organization that sends doctors in places like Liberia. In other words, I want to open this up, and I'm trying to give a scholarship to folks. So if there's any of you in that boat, that's how we're know it right now. What else would you like to say before we end Anything Goes today?
As we go forth, we can never forget the sacrifices of those before us. And as I said before, none of the veterans that I've ever met or talked to in the past and stuff like that, we didn't ask for anything. We just decided to step up and do something about it and to help future generations live better and hopefully provide a positive outlook on what men and women who volunteer to know that they could have their lives taken from them at any instant to defend the freedoms that we have today.
Well, I'll add a comment as well. And then we'll get into the room. We still have 3 scholarship packages, each one with $2,500. There are over 50 people here right now. We have 3 packages. So 50 of you, do the math. And I'll end with the words that still others all such a free zone. And that's the word of Vietnam. Almost impossible, maybe impossible, for me to speak objectively about that. And I've written maybe 8 articles or so on Vietnam. And I said that at some point or other I would finish these articles by going, what I've been doing is kind of like dealing with kind of peripheral subjects, like the time I spent with George McGovern, who ran, of course, for president. The time I spent with King Sihanouk of Cambodia, who was a major player when his country was overcome by the United States. And Stanley Carnell, who wrote the first history of Vietnam, whom I knew. My own feelings. So bit by bit I've been kind of coming into the center of the issue. I find it almost impossible to write those words. So, if we have any Vietnam vets, a little chance for me to get back. You come and see me and we'll see what we can do about getting you a scholarship. That's all I can say about that, because anyone knows who's been to Washington and been to the Vietnam Memorial. That's the most visited memorial in the capital. Of all the various monuments, that's the most visited. And partly it's the most visited because we're still not resolved. We still feel divided about that particular war. Some of us feel that the way the troops were treated when they got home was very shabby, let them down. hard. It's a very difficult subject. But for those of you, I'm going to finish on an up note again, and I'll be back up later this afternoon. If you are any kind of a veteran in the categories that I've been mentioning throughout the hour, come and see us. We'll work something out. That's the way we are around here. Just don't hang out and not talk to us. This marvelous company works because we interact. And we have 50 people, actually more now, 66 people in here now, who need the service. And if you want to work at home, maybe you have to work at home. Maybe it's in so many people who survived the Vietnam War, maybe you just are half crazy half the time. I mean, maybe you need to work at home. Good. I needed to work at home, so I understand that. You come to me and we'll see what we can work out. But don't wait. If you don't know what you're doing, say you don't know what you're doing. We've dealt with a lot of people who don't know what they're doing and end up quite happy. So what is your final thoughts for?
As Dr. Lant said, we're here to help you achieve your highest potential. You have to invest in yourself. There's so much here in our community, but what you will get out of here is that there are people on the internet that care about your success. Plain and simple. That's what this community is about. That's why the Live Business Center came to exist. No, why should I have to close my own sales when I have people like myself and Dr. Lant who volunteer our time, live time, to be able to better people globally? And that's all I have to say.
Now, Micah, before we end today's program, Micah, are you there? Or Misha, or Micah, are you there? Do you hear us? We have a $2,500 bonus package scholarship for you. Micah, a $2,500 scholarship package for you. You got to communicate with us. You got to sit back and send us a message. We're not going to help you out if you don't respond. And just for the record, one of the ways that I use to evaluate people's worthy for and whether they respond in a prompt way. I'm going to guarantee you.
There we go.
Now, Misha has responded in a prompt way. So, Misha, you've been here before. Did you watch the video carefully? Did you watch the video carefully? You watched this video carefully. First thing you're going to do, I have a scholarship worth $2,500 ready to invest in you, but you need to follow the directions. Direction 1 is click on the green box and watch the video. It takes 7 minutes. Then return here. Yes, good. When you return here, we're going to make you the offer and we're going to bring you in to get started immediately. And then we're going to be down to 2 packages. And we're going to make sure we find good homes for them. And again, one of those ways that I use to evaluate people for these scholarships is how you respond in a prompt way. Do you say things that are not too wacky? Do you write a sentence? I'm going to have my own criteria. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to call a formal end of this program, but we'll sit here for a minute to try to, or actually, who's the next monitor coming up? Please? Who is the next monitor? We have a next monitor. It's Sharon. Okay, Sharon, I want you to meet Misha, who is watching the video now. It should be coming on in about 6 minutes or so. And then we have 3 left to give away. And I made that special offer to all vets. Okay, that's it for today. In olden days, I'm talking now, God and Anything Goes. Interesting program today. So many of these subjects are still raw, and it's really have to be objective. And maybe being objective is the wrong way to do it. Maybe we just need to say what we have to say. Because God knows, holding in all that raw stuff for so many years warps a person. And you know what I found that helped? Forrest Gump. Make what use of that as you can.